Balkans and elsewhere. The lengthy CIA training process was one of the greatest adventures of my life, and it alone generated enough memorable and hilarious stories on which to base an entire book. Once I was posted abroad, employing solid tradecraft skills learned during training was essential to success and survival, whether on the streets of Latin America or while being followed by the Yugoslav KGB en route to a midnight agent meeting in Belgrade. Overseas, I frequently and intentionally crossed paths with Cold War nemeses like Soviet and Cuban spies. Post-Cold War CIA service allowed me and my family to bear witness to the breakup of Yugoslavia as it slid out of communism and into a horrific, bloody civil war. I served on and behind the front lines, dispatching reports and influencing events in Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo. My wife and daughters experienced CIA life from a somewhat different perspective. Because of the urgency of the Bosnia crisis, my raw intelligence reports, sent via secure satellite phone from Sarajevo during the siege and Srebrenica massacre, were passed directly to the White House and Secretary of State, unfiltered and without the usual CIA headquarters analysis. It doesn't get any better than that if you're a CIA operations officer in the field, even if the experts in Washington are initially skeptical of your 100% accurate report that the Bosnian Serbs slaughtered 8,000 Bosnian Muslim civilians over the course of a few days. It's why the CIA exists, to report the unvarnished truth to policymakers. I was also fortunate enough to support the mission even after resigning from the CIA. I found that I could actually do more for the U.S. government and my country as a private citizen, since I wasn't bound by bureaucratic or chain-of-command restrictions that necessarily constrain staff employees. If I want to enter Kosovo or Iraq or Syria mid-war to set up a business, no one inside the CIA can stop me. Not that they didn't try. But since I was free to take more risks as a civilian than as a CIA officer, I was also able to provide even greater results in furtherance of America's global national security mission. The unfortunate reality is that policymakers do not necessarily do the right or smart thing, even when they have spot-on intelligence to guide them. Presidents George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton alike both ignored the CIA's prescient intelligence on the former Yugoslavia, and as a result, their well-intentioned but misguided policies contribute greatly to the bloodshed during the protracted and largely avoidable Balkan Wars. Later, the administration of President George W. Bush chose to ignore my reporting that Saddam Hussein's intelligence service did not meet with al-Qaeda in Prague, one of the false justifications given for invading Iraq. That same administration ignored valuable input from seasoned U.S. intelligence and military professionals before launching the invasion. Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11 and nothing to do with al-Qaeda. But the Bush administration was determined to invade Iraq, regardless of what the intelligence showed or failed to show. After overthrowing Saddam to the benefit of Iran, the White House continued to ignore its own experts and made a series of monumentally bad decisions, from firing the entire Iraqi military to implementing an ill-conceived de-Baathification policy. Iraq, the United States, and the world all pay the price to this day. Later, President Obama's government foolishly pulled the plug on an extremely valuable collaboration with my company that might have helped prevent the ISIS surprise takeover of Mosul in summer 2014. But politics trumped intelligence. In 2011, the Obama administration abandoned the Iraqi disaster that the Bush administration created without even trying to renegotiate the status of forces agreement, only to redeploy troops to Iraq predictably a few years later. The saga continues. Yugoslavia, Iraq, ISIS. These were not intelligence failures. On the contrary, these were, for the most part, intelligence successes. But intelligence professionals and the CIA do not make foreign policy. Politicians do. They have the power to ignore intelligence, ignore the best options presented, and recognize only a single unified Yugoslavia rather than accept reality and help the country break apart peacefully.